Brooke, the superhero. How are we doing?
Good. Really good.
Good, really good. Awesome. Well, let's start things off by, introduce yourself. Where are you from? How long did you have DPDR for? And what's your story?
Yeah, my name's Brooke. Um, I'm I'm 23 and I live in Massachusetts. I had DPDR for like 7, 8 months.
7, 8 months.
Started, yeah, it started in the end of August.
Yep, yep. And how, what was your story? Like, how did it start?
So I was in a car accident, where I ended up jumping out of the vehicle and it hit my head. Um, a month later, I was just sitting in the rocking chair with one of my kids, and all of a sudden, everything just felt numb. And I was like, what the heck? So
Yeah.
that night, I was supposed to go to the gym, so I continued. I went to the gym, and I was like, it'll just go away. Like, occasionally this happens. Um, and I just feel funky. Maybe something's off. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'll wake up in the morning, it'll be gone. And I woke up, and it was still there. And then the next
Mm-hmm.
day it was still there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to panic. I was like, I don't feel real. Um, so I tried to ignore it. And then not not long after I started getting some panic attacks.
Yeah.
And I ended up calling a psychiatrist and they put me on medication, which did not help at all.
No, no, it didn't.
um,
And I think they put you on what, three medications?
yeah,
One being an antipsychotic.
yeah,
That's insane. And
yep.
I already told you this, but I'm extremely sorry that they even like I don't even they're the ones that need antipsychotics for putting you on antipsychotics.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
put me on an antidepressant and an antipsychotic, and I was on Xanax every day, twice a day. But
craziness.
I was like, this is wild. Um, and then I remember like some now that I'm like recovered, I don't like remember it like I did.
And what did I
But
tell you? I told you this is gonna happen.
yeah,
Told
so
you.
it's hard to think back to it now, but I remember going to like a Halloween party for my friends, so that was October, end of October.
Uh-huh.
And I literally was walking around and I felt like The Walking Dead. I was like, I kept asking my husband, I'm like, am I here? Like, I'm
Crazy.
like, this is not right. And it lasted like 3 days like that, like really bad. And
Uh-huh.
then it started to get better. And then I'd panic again and it would get worse.
I know. I
And
know.
then there was a point where I thought I had like schizophrenia. Then I
Exactly.
started looking it up and I'm like, oh my God, I do have schizophrenia.
I was the same. I was
And
literally the same.
I obviously don't, but
No.
it was pretty scary.
Super, super scary. I've been in your shoes. I've literally experienced that exactly. It was like, I remember at a certain point, I literally was like, I admitted it. Like, I know, I fully accepted the fact that I probably have schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how it's all the anxiety and the DPDR, just talking and whispering in your ear. And Google, I mean, honestly, Google's the worst. You search
Yeah.
up your symptoms and then you might see DPDR or you might see psychosis and schizophrenia. So
Hmm.
that's what messes everyone up, honestly.
And then
Without,
I ended up on Reddit, which was
yes,
pretty bad.
yes,
I didn't even know Reddit was a thing. I was like, everyone's like, oh, I had it for 10 years. And I'm like, oh my God, like, we're done.
I know. Like it's over. It's over. Tell me about it. Good. And yeah, if you can remember, what are a couple of your, the worst symptoms that you had?
The worst symptoms that I had were um like I felt like how did I explain it? I felt like there was an airbag in my head. Like everyone else, I hear a lot of people explain it as like a pane of glass, but like there was just like something between me and the world that just like wasn't right.
I know.
That was the worst. And then um
And then you told me the fear schizo, the vision, the intrusive thoughts.
yeah, my intrusive thoughts were pretty bad. Like I couldn't pick up a household knife like cooking. I was
I
like,
remember that.
I can't even do this. Like this is bad. Because I felt so unreal that I was like you know, what's it gonna do, you know?
Exactly. I know. Like, what is it? Like, what does it even matter? You
Like, is
know,
this gonna hurt? You know, it
it's
was
just gonna
just like
hurt.
the stuff that was going through my mind was insane.
I feel you. And yeah, I mean, what was your daily life looking like before you joined the program and you were just, on your own dealing with it while having three kids, Talk about that.
Um, so I did like a lot of research. Um, I tried for like a week going for a walk every day. Um, and then I didn't see any improvement, so I was like, this isn't doing anything. So I stopped doing that. And then I purchased the manual
Oh, you got a
and
DP manual, that's right.
I did. Like I printed it all out.
You printed the whole thing out. I remember that. And
um,
we talked about it. Like, what were your thoughts on it? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
it was good. It's just I needed more of like accountability, like one-on-one.
Right.
Um, it was like a lot of just like live your life
Correct.
and which is fine, but it's like I felt like I was, like I still had things to do. I didn't try to change my life.
Exactly.
I just was
Exactly.
doing what I had to do bare minimum.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think the DP manual is decent, but again, it's quite literally just a book. A hundred
Mhm.
bucks, you're gonna get $100 worth of information. Um, but yeah, and then I mean, what was your life like in terms of like how did you manage before reaching out to me? How did you manage, balancing life as a mom? I think you were telling me things were kind of falling apart, like you were just starting to become, lazy slash not doing a whole bunch of things. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I tried to sleep as much as I could. No
Yeah.
matter any downtime, I was trying to sleep to avoid it. Um, I like I didn't do anything in the house. I did barely even did the bare minimum. I it was like I felt bad for my husband because he was doing it all.
Yeah, I feel you. I
So
feel
there,
you.
I pretty much like I do home daycare. So
Yeah,
I
and you
pretty
run a
much
home daycare on top of the three kids.
yeah, I was in the beginning I was tempted to just like stop working. Like but the best thing I did was stay working. Because it
Good.
gave me a schedule, it gave me things to do. I only had like one kid at the time here plus my three.
What's for
So it
three?
wasn't too bad. Like I was able to just pretty much do nothing. I just like sat around and watched the kid. But now I am able to like do a curriculum with them and just I have a schedule now.
Yeah, absolutely. Good, good. Um, and yeah, let me ask you, I have a bunch of things. But yeah, what did you try before this, Brooke? I knew you were in therapy for a while, correct?
Yeah, so I had really bad postpartum depression in the like so my twins are a year old now. So once they hit 6 weeks old, I went through a rough time until like mid-July. And so I ended up seeing a therapist then, which was fine. Like it was just for the depression, anxiety.
Exactly.
I finally got through that and I got off my medication then. And I was great for like 2 months until my car accident. And then I was put back on medication. But I tried doing like herbal things. Um,
You had every supplement in the world.
oh yeah, I took
All of them.
vitamin like I just took anything I could. Um, like I said, I tried going for a walk, but it only lasted like a week. I was like, I'm not seeing any difference. Um, I tried somatic therapy at home. It was like a 28-day program, which I never followed through with, which
Yeah,
it probably would have helped me. Um,
maybe.
I would do it for like a couple days and then stop, and then
Yeah, and that's the
then
thing.
I
I want
like
to bring
didn't
up
do it at all.
exactly. I want to bring up a point. How important do you think accountability was in this whole, you know, journey with me?
It was awesome actually because beforehand, well, I'm noticing like even after that I recovered, I still want to like message you every day and be like, "Hey, like I did everything I was supposed to do
No,
today."
I know it's sad. Like I told you, like I missed getting your updates. I missed, just checking in with you. It sucks and it's such a tough. I'm doing it the same thing with Millie, another recovered client. It's tough to let you guys go. And obviously you guys can always reach out to me whenever,
Yeah.
but at a certain point, obviously, like I can't give the same attention because I have so many more clients. But
Yeah.
it sucks. It sucks, but at the same time, I'm glad that you guys are recovered and I'm setting you up for long-term success.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, look, I
So,
mean, yeah, what I was gonna say is like, would you say accountability is one of the most important things? Because a lot of people, you can get a plan, like you had a somatic, whatever. Maybe
mhm.
what if I were to give you a plan at the beginning of the program, but would you think you would have stuck it through the whole entire way?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't have.
Because if I'm the type of person, if I don't see results in like within a week, I'm like, I'm out. But having somebody one on one is like, oh no, keep going. Like you'll see the results, you'll see it. And even
Yeah,
on my really, really down days, I'd be like, hey, I'm having a tough day. You're like, screw the tough day, man. Like you got to keep going. And
exactly.
it's like you got goals to crush no matter how you feel. It doesn't matter how you feel. Just keep going. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
I set that precedent early. Yeah, and speaking about seeing results, seeing progress, how quickly would you say you saw your first for your
um,
first progress or your
the first
first
progress
relief?
I
Yeah.
noticed, I didn't notice it right away, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 weeks in,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I remember.
it was my I didn't realize, but like so I think it was like 4 weeks in when I realized. But at 2 weeks, I stopped having like the dreamlike feeling. Like I stopped feeling like I was disconnected.
Yeah.
So I remember I was in Texas actually, and I messaged
Yes.
you and
You messaged me. I
I was
remember.
like, wait a minute. I'm sitting here and realizing that I have not like completely felt like I was dead in like 2 weeks.
I remember that. You're
And
like,
that was
wow.
that was
You
awesome.
think you texted me like, wow, like I can't believe it's only been 2 weeks. Like I just now realized that I don't feel disconnected anymore. And you said you were still dealing with some vision problems, like some other things, but like the main disconnection was gone. And you were like, I
Yeah.
can't believe it was this simple this whole time,
Yeah.
right?
It was crazy. Like because I the best part was like cuz like when I was doing it on my own like going for a walk every day and not seeing results, just like saying like just keep going. No matter like I felt like I couldn't even get off my ass.
Yeah,
And like this gave me no excuse. It was like, no, you're gonna do it if you feel like shit or not. Like that changed my mindset completely.
entirely, entirely. I love that. I love that. Good, good. Um, Let me see. I mean, did you ever have your doubts when you were going through the recovery journey that like, maybe you're just not meant for recovery or maybe it's just like not gonna work for you?
Yeah, occasionally I still like it's about like once a week I'll be like a little bit in my head and I'll be like, "Oh no, like I have a couple lingering symptoms and like what if they don't go away?" But they will go away.
Of course they did. Of course. Good. I want to ask you, what was like if you had to choose like one thing that was like the worst part of this whole experience? What would that be? I know you talked a lot about you feeling disconnected from your kids, for example, and feeling like you couldn't recognize your own kids or you couldn't feel connected to your kids,
Hmm.
right? I mean, I don't know if that was your worst, but like talk about that as well.
Yeah, the worst part for me was probably like because my twins were 6 months old, and I felt like the disconnection. I was like, I'm not even living life with them. Like, I didn't get to enjoy them being little at all. I just, that really hit me hard. And I was like, I need to fix myself for my kids right now.
Would you say your kids were like the biggest motivation for you?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that sometimes you have to have that bigger motivation. It can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna do this for myself. Because when you don't feel real and nothing feels real, you have no concept of what that even means, you
Yeah,
know?
it's like it didn't matter. Like I went through a point where I like got the kids up in the morning and I would just like change their diaper and leave them in pajamas like all day. Like I never dressed it. I just literally did the bare minimum.
Yeah. Yeah. And wait, let's talk about the therapy for a second. How long did you go to therapy before reaching out to me?
Um I've been in therapy for I don't know. I started it back in so they're probably almost a year ago now.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And so that means you went to therapy the entire time you had DPDR before reaching out to me.
Yes, I did.
So for 7 months.
Yep.
Okay. And what would you say were some pros and cons to therapy for
So
DPDR specifically?
yeah, so I have a private therapist
Hmm.
and so she's a little more personable
Hmm.
versus like somebody else, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, she was very like honestly, there's a lot of times where she was right because I was like, I think I have DPDR. She's like, no, you don't. You have anxiety. She's like, and you need to chill out. I'm like,
I find it
okay.
so interesting how, and I've heard this from almost everyone, how therapists like almost refuse to say it's DPDR. Like I don't
Yeah.
under, like
And
I've heard that from so many people. Like at a certain point, yes, depersonalization, derealization can be a symptom of anxiety, but there's a certain point where you're having chronic depersonalization, derealization, where you literally have the disorder. And therapists, for some reason, I think the main reason is because they're not trained to actually treat it. So they're trained to treat anxiety. So maybe they don't even know about DPDR. I think that's what it is. They don't know about it. So it's just like, oh yeah, like that's a common anxiety symptom. Just do this breathing technique and it'll go away. I think that's, the problem.
yeah, and she was like, oh, I went when I told her I was like, I think I have schizophrenia. She like went off. She was like, you do not. You need to stop. Like you just have anxiety and you need to chill out. Your grandmother passed. Oh, this is how she explained it. So my grandmother passed the same day as my
Yeah,
car accident,
I remember.
and she's like, you. It's just part of grieving, and I'm like, no. And she's
No.
like, your body is trying to show you what what it's like to be dead. I'm like,
What? What?
yeah. She's like, your brain is like telling you because you're so stressed that it's like experiencing what death would be like if you like died in your car accident on the day your grandmother died. And I was like, this doesn't even make sense.
No, 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 no. That's just like that's I don't know. I can't even
And
put
then I
words
was
to what that
like,
is.
and then she just kept saying, it's because your grandmother's death. And I'm like, I literally haven't even thought about it.
I
Like,
know.
how does that have
I
anything
see
to
what
do
she's
with it?
trying to say, but that's just
Yeah.
a not a good way to go about it, I
And
should
then
say.
I was told that I had harm OCD and
Really?
yeah.
You didn't tell me that. I mean, I don't even know why she would say that, to be honest.
Yeah, it was just intrusive thought.
Yeah,
Like,
like what do you mean harm OCD? I hate labels.
I know.
And what sucks about labels is that a lot of people, especially my clients too, they come to me, they're like, "Oh, I've been diagnosed with OCD, anxiety, GAD, general anxiety disorder,
Mhm.
DPDR." And they think that just because some rando labeled them with that, that they have to be stuck with it forever, or that they have some type of special thing where it's like they have to be treated carefully. And that's like the worst thing you can do for your subconscious,
Yeah.
you know?
So, yeah, once I got that diagnosis, I was, of course, online, like, and then I was told that I had to do exposure therapy, and I was like, I ain't doing that. Like, no.
Crazy. I hate that word, to be honest with you. I completely understand the whole concept of exposure therapy, but like I just hate that word. What the hell? Like exposure therapy literally means live your life. That's the
Yeah.
best form of exposure therapy, living your life. Not like having the mindset of, okay, I'm gonna go outside because it's an exposure therapy. Like
Yeah,
you are
seriously.
not like I promise, like you're not like a patient. You can't treat yourself like a patient, like a lab rat. Like I have to go outside because it's some form of freaking treatment. Like no, you can't do that, you know? But what else was I gonna ask you? Yeah, I mean, do you remember like the lowest point? I mean, I don't think you really just I mean, let's go back to therapy for 1 second.
Okay.
Do you think that that helped at all over the 7 months?
No,
You don't think it helped
no,
at all? Not even a little?
a very little, just because she kept telling me it was just anxiety that I had to live my life and move on.
Makes
But
sense.
like, I didn't know how. I
Exactly.
didn't know what to do. Like, there was no
No
like
action
like at
plan.
that point I was like, it's okay, it's just anxiety. And then that lasted maybe like 3 weeks of being like, okay, it's just anxiety. But like, I was still doing nothing. I was still just lazy and
Yeah, and I know
assuming
you
it would just
were,
go away.
yeah, and at a certain point, I remember, I think it was like week 2, you were like, this is gonna be my last session of therapy. I'm starting to hate her.
Oh yeah.
You're like, you're like, I can't stand her.
Yep.
That's so funny. That's so
Because I
funny.
didn't want to talk about it. Like, that's like the number one thing. If you sit and talk about and tell everybody what you like, oh yeah, I have DPDR, and then you're like, everyone's like, what the hell is that? So you explain it. That just makes it worse.
Makes it
Because
way
then
worse.
everyone is checking in on you, going, oh, so how are you feeling with your DPDR? And it's like, I wasn't thinking about it, but now I am.
I know, and I say it over and over again. I'm gonna say it again. Talk therapy is dangerous when it comes to DPDR. I think I'm not opposed to people going for a couple sessions, maybe, if they really like are itching to go speak to a medical professional therapist, like I'm not opposed, but having it as a long-term thing is terrible because the more you talk about it, the more real it gets, the more it gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. And as you just
Yes.
said, you start telling more people, now they feel like they have to check in on you. And they have great intentions. They have great intentions to check
Hmm.
in on you to see how you feel, but it does the exact opposite because it lingers on in the back of your head always,
Yeah.
you know?
So I just remembered now. So what I was actually in therapy 3 days a week
What?
before I started talking to you.
Really?
Yeah,
Holy,
I was 3 days a week, and if not four, it was pretty bad.
wow. And that's a private therapist. I'm sure you're spending a lot of money, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
Wow. How much was it like? What was it, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour?
Actually, I did like 2 hour sessions.
Wow. 2 hour
Yep,
sessions 3 times a week?
yep,
Jesus, Brooke. What were you dropping like 100 each time you went in there more?
yeah, yep.
Wow.
It cost me way too much.
Wow. For no
So now
help
I'm
either.
down to once a month just to check in, like about life. It's not even
Right. I see what you mean.
so.
That works. That's for example what you use therapy for,
Hmm.
not to try to get rid of DPDR. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Okay, awesome. And do you remember like the lowest point you had when you were experiencing DPDR?
Yes. So I was put on a different antidepressant because the first one wasn't working. Imagine that.
Wait, what was the first one?
The first one was Prozac
Hmm.
that she put me on. And then since she said I potentially had OCD, she put me on fluvoxamine or Luvox or something.
Okay.
And it literally made my intrusive thoughts so bad for like
Really?
2 weeks. And she's like, it'll level out. And it did not. It literally was so bad. I was standing out here on the deck in the cold, barefoot, panicking, and I had ended up calling my husband. I was like, I think I'm suicidal. And he's like, "What?"
Wow.
And I was like, "I'm not even kidding you. I'm like, I need help right now." Um
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that, Brooke. I don't remember you talking about this. Obviously,
yeah,
there's so much about this.
there's
There's
just
so
so
much.
much.
It's just like, fuck, I'm sorry to hear that. It's just
Yeah,
terrible.
so that was very bad. I ended up having my mother-in-law who's an EMT. I had her come over and she sat with me for the rest of the day. Um, and she's like, "You're fine. You're having a panic attack." And I'm like, "There's no way this is a panic attack." Because I'm like, I don't like. I was kept telling her, I was like, I don't want to feel this way, but like I want to be here, but I really don't want to feel this way. And I'm like, and I don't know what to do because nothing's working. So
Excuse
that's
me.
when my intrusive thoughts like really were really bad. That was probably my lowest point, and that happened twice within like getting on that medication and then getting off of that medication.
Yeah,
Um like I stopped it too fast because I was like, I don't want this happening again. Um but I've been fine since then. Like
gotcha. And by
that was like
intrusive
I was
thoughts,
literally folding laundry and I'm like, oh, here we go.
I know, I know. And by intrusive thoughts, if you don't mind sharing, like some thoughts that would pop up. I know this, I know the ones I dealt with. What were like the intrusive thoughts that would pop up for you at times?
A lot of like anything to do with harming myself, really. It would just be like, like I was cutting up like cheese or something and I'm like, is it really that bad? Like my brain would be like, is it that bad? And I'd sit here and be like, no, go away, go away. I'm just trying to cut up the cheese, man.
I know. And
And
it's
it's
so
like,
real in the moment. It's
it
like,
is. And then
and
I
it's
just
so
start panicking.
disturbing.
And like I would throw the knife in the sink and I'll walk away because I'm like, but then I'd remind myself, I'm like, if like that's how I'm reacting to it, that means I really don't want to do it.
It's a great
So when
point.
I started like I kept telling myself like if I liked the idea of it, that would be a different story. This is freaking me out. So
Exactly.
that's when I knew it was just an intrusive thought.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, though
Good.
it was
Good.
very bad with those. Like occasionally I still get them, but it's not like nearly as bad as it was. Like it was every day, all day long, all night.
I know. I know. I feel you. And what was like the turning point for you, Brooke? Like you just, why did you decide to reach out to me for help?
Gosh, do I even remember? Oh, yes. So I was actually I saw on TikTok a chiropractor that was like, oh
Okay.
yeah, you got to reset your vagus nerve. So I
Oh
called
God,
around
I hate that. You don't
and
understand how much I hate that term.
so I called everywhere that had like this special chiropractor and it was 3 hours away.
Oh, you told me this.
And yeah, I ended up telling my husband, he's like, I'll do anything at this point because like this is ridiculous. And he's like, he took the day off too, and we were gonna go. And then you messaged me that night. I had this schedule, like you messaged me back, and
No
I was like,
way.
all right, I don't have to go. Like I am good now.
Really? That's
Yep.
awesome.
So I canceled it, and they were like, I called. They're like, oh, are you sure? And I was like, yep, I'm sure. Like I don't need to come in. Like this guy's gonna help me out.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, why did you have so much confidence before even like actually getting to know me? Like, why did you have so much confidence that I could help you?
Well, because I all your posts on TikTok were very relatable. Like and knowing that you recovered versus some like a chiropractor that says like he could fix your problem
Right.
and it's like I actually honestly I didn't trust you at first. Like not gonna
Yeah.
lie, I was
No,
like
talk
I
about
don't
that.
know who this is, but I was at like the lowest point where I was like I'm willing to try anything at this point. So
Mhm.
the first call I was very like nervous.
Yeah, let's talk about right before the first call. Right before the first call. I remember you being very anxious, and
Oh yes,
you actually ended up speaking with Chase,
I
who's
did.
awesome, and I've interviewed with Chase as well. Um, and yeah, I mean, Chase, what did he end up telling you that really like, because I know like in your head, what was going through your head, like right before we scheduled that call, like what was going through your head? Like, is this a scam?
Yeah, I was like, is
Well,
this worth it? Is it gonna help me at all? Like, I'm like, it feels like it's gonna be a lot of money. Like, I'm not sure. And then I reached out to Chase, and he's like, no, you just do it. Just you've got this. Like, he offered to call me. He's like,
yeah,
want me to
that's
call you?
crazy.
Like to let you know, like it's really gonna be okay. And it doesn't take too long to recover. You just gotta put your mind to it. And that was the same night that I was talking to you in the like
Yeah,
when you first messaged me. So I was like, I gotta message this other guy, make sure this is not a scam.
yeah, I know. No, but Chase is awesome for that. I don't tell him to do anything. Like he ended it like he called you and I
Mhm.
heard about it and I was like, wow, Chase, like you
Yeah.
really did an awesome thing. Like that's just
So then,
amazing.
yeah, then he would text me and be like, "Hey, so did you end up signing up?" And I'm like, "I did." And he'd check on me every week. "How are things? I hope you're doing good." And I'm
What
like,
a
"This
guy.
this guy's a hero."
What a guy. And yeah, I feel like the one of the main reasons he was like so nice to you too and like actually helped you is because Chase dealt with the same thing. Like he also thought like was very skeptical. Honestly, like I would say about 50-50 of my clients would like are skeptical or anxious about it. Would you say that's part of the condition or it's just like I look like a scam? Or would you say it's just anxiety talking?
Um, I don't know, because I deep down I knew it was true because like
Right.
if it was definitely the anxiety because I like the first two calls I was very like I knew I was talking to a real person, but it was like I don't know,
Mm,
like is he just gonna take my money? Like I, you just
mm,
don't know. So
right. It's more like the anxiety, like with all those doubts coming in, right?
yeah, so
I
yeah,
feel
and
you
then
on
I
that.
was like on when you're like the first call when you're like, oh, are you ready to go in 100%? And I was like, yeah, and then like the next 2 days I was like, oh my God, like am I gonna follow it? And, like am I like is it gonna work? And it was just like I couldn't wait for the next call just to be like, all right, I'm gonna do this. It's not that hard.
Not that hard,
It's
right?
not like
It wasn't,
it's not like
yeah,
you're asking me to do a 10K every day, you know?
not at all. Not at all. Exactly. How would you, I asked the same question to Millie yesterday on interview, but like, how would you say, is it difficult? It's not difficult. Of course, it's difficult. It's not going to be easy, but is it complicated to overcome this or no?
No, not at all.
It's
No.
not.
You got to put your mind to what you have to do and just stick with it.
Stick with it.
No matter how
Yeah.
you feel, just keep going.
Would you say I did a good job of simplifying things so it didn't feel like it was like, I don't know, a whole operation, like,
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was just like I don't know, 10 simple tasks to do every day and it's like as long as you
That's it.
stuck with it, you're like it gives you a reason to keep moving also.
Mm,
Otherwise, I'd just
great
be
point.
sitting there moping about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brooke, do you think that you could have eventually made a recovery yourself without my help?
Um, to the point where I was at, probably not.
Mm,
Um, like I said, I have a hard time sticking with things,
right.
but
I
so
feel you. And like, what really made you decide to work with me? You know, would you say like I know Chase helped a good bit, but obviously we had our first call, our consultation call. What really made you feel like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna do this, you know?
my husband, honestly, he's like he I told him about it and he was like, sorry. He's like, "Do it. Just do it. Like I want my wife back." And I was
Oh,
like, "Okay." I'm like, "I'm just going to do it." So,
wow,
he was honestly one of my big motivators.
wow.
And if it's like he usually works late, so right before the time change, he'd be like, "I'm gonna come home early so you can go for your walk." And I'm like, "Great," you know. It was just like that extra support of having a husband or anyone else was really nice. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, can imagine. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And Brooke, I mean, you ended up recovering in what, 40 something days, 6 weeks, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, how did it feel knowing, and I told you this on our first call, that, well, I told you the estimated recovery time for you was going to be 28 days. You know, it took us 2 more weeks. How did it feel like knowing that even though you paid for a 28-day program, inside of Reality Reconnect, I have the guarantee where I'm going to stick by your side until you make a full recovery? How did it feel like knowing that I was there for the long run?
It felt awesome because honestly, after the 28 days, if I didn't have you, I probably would have just stopped doing what I had to do and would
Right,
have fell back into place.
right, right. Yeah, amazing. That's, yeah, I could imagine, you know?
Because I'd be like,
Um,
oh, it's 28 days, I'm not recovered, so I'm not,
right. And little did you
why keep
know you
going?
little did you know you were literally 14 days away from the best ever, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. I mean, and what were some things that you think really contributed to such a fast recovery? 43 days is still extremely fast. Some people think they can never overcome this. What would you think really like was a key factor in your whole recovery journey?
Um, I have been struggling with weight, and once I started this program, I started to lose a couple pounds, and then like it was
Mhm.
very motivating. I was like, all right, if I just keep doing this, I'm gonna lose more weight,
Yeah.
and that really kept me going.
Yeah, I know you lost like what? You're down like 15 pounds so far?
Yeah, 20.
20?
Yep.
Jeez, that's freaking amazing. That's
Yep.
freaking amazing. Cool. I don't know. My questions kind of disappeared. Let me go find them. But yeah, I mean, what do you think sets me apart, Brooke, sets this program apart from like, you know, any therapist or maybe any other content or anxiety coach that you might have stumbled across?
Having the sorry, I can hear one of my kids crying.
You're good.
Having the one-on-one really was like the best part of it all.
The one-on-one. The one-on-one. Yeah, I completely feel you. And was there like was there a specific mindset shift that you would recommend other people to adopt that really helped you make a recovery?
Um, just keep going. Like it doesn't matter how like I keep saying it because it's like stuck in my head now. It doesn't matter how you feel. Keep going and crush your goals every day.
Crush your goals every day. Awesome, awesome. And let's go back to like the decision that you made to actually follow through and commit to the program. Like, do you have to go take care of something?
Yeah.
Okay, you can go like real quick. We'll just resume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, no, no. All good, all good. Um, you got it taken care of?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, Brooke, I mean, what? Wait, let me gather my words. Yeah, I mean, how does life feel like now compared to when you were going through it? Because I know at a certain point you probably never thought this was even possible, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, how does it feel like now living your life again and just feeling normal, feeling good?
It feels so great because I used to not like be able to drive either.
Yes, that was
I
another
would
thing.
I would have my like sister drive me around and go with my mom everywhere because like the vision just got worse when I was driving.
I know.
Um so I would like now I can like Fridays I bring kids to the doctors, I just do my thing, I go shopping. Shopping is like my favorite thing to do. So like
Crazy.
I didn't go shopping for like 3 4 months and I was like I gotta go back shopping.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, that honestly because it's like one of my favorite things. It like motivated me to just like get up and go.
yeah, absolutely.
So
And do you feel like you're better now than you were before when you were normal?
oh yeah, yes.
Good. Like
Yep.
how come? Like what are some traits or what makes it better now than it was even before DPDR?
So I like I've always been overweight. So like losing a lot of weight and changing what I eat
Mm,
and now like daily exercise that has like changed a lot because I before did nothing.
I know. I feel you.
So it's like I'm a different person
Yeah. And what are some things you're able to do now, Brooke, that before you just weren't able to do?
before DPDR or
But with DPDR, you
having
weren't able to.
um like driving I couldn't
Yeah.
I didn't I avoided hanging out with anybody um any friends I I used to get like calls for more daycare kids to come
Uh-huh.
and I shut them down. I told them that I was full because
Damn.
I could barely handle like the one like I could handle, obviously, but like I was like I can't take any more. Like this is way too much for me right now. Um, but I have 3 kids plus my 3,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to pay off some credit card debt, which was really
Mm-hmm.
good. Um,
Yes. Awesome.
yeah, what
And
else did I? Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot.
yeah, definitely like everything, you know. And what would you say to someone right now who's going through DPDR and felt just like you did? You know, they felt like they were going crazy. They felt like they were at the point of no return, like recovery was not possible. And they're looking at this kind of in disbelief, you know, that you recovered in just 6 weeks.
Yeah. Um, can you ask that one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, like what would you say to someone who's currently going through DPDR
Oh,
right
okay.
now? Yeah.
I would say signing like once you hit the point to where it's like life or death,
Hmm.
and you like I honestly couldn't in the beginning. I could not afford to be on the program at all. I was like, there's no way. Like we were already in debt. I was maxed out credit cards. I'm like, there's no way that I can do this.
Wow, I didn't even
But
know that.
I put it in the back of my mind. I was like, you know what? If I don't fix myself, then I can't be the better me ever.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that, like, my husband's like, we'll figure it out. We like ended up um skipping a car payment, paying the
Wow.
mortgage late,
I didn't even
and
know
I was
that.
like,
That's
I
amazing,
don't.
Brooke.
I was like, I don't care, and he's like, I don't care either.
Wow. That is extremely powerful, Brooke, and I applaud you for that. I
Yeah,
really do applaud you for that
but we made
because
it work,
you
so
just you made
it
it
was
work.
worth it. It was worth
You
it.
just made it happen. And that's I didn't even I genuinely am surprised. I didn't know that. Because obviously a lot of people that come to me say like, you know, I have expenses, I have this, you know, I have a car payment. Everyone has their expenses. What would you
Yeah,
say to someone who actually probably was in a better financial situation than you. Like they're not in debt. Maybe they have just a couple savings and they're scared to invest in themselves. What would you say to them?
I honestly, I would just do it. Like, money returns, life
Money
doesn't.
returns. Life doesn't. I 100% agree with you. Wow, that's extremely powerful. That's amazing, bro. How did you justify that in your head though? Because number one, you know, everyone has their doubts. What if it doesn't work? You didn't really know me. You were in a bad financial situation and you still put the investment. How did you like justify that in your head? You know?
I kept telling myself, like I kept saying, if I'm not here, then I can't help at all.
Wow.
So I was like it was life or death. Like
Let's talk
it's
about that for a second. Life or death. A lot of people like that's honestly what I preach the most in my content. And I just think it's the most important thing. It's the most important thing because a human does not take action of this degree not just to invest in themselves, to actually take action and overcome this,
Mhm.
unless they have a huge motivator, right? In your case, we talked about your kids, but most importantly, it's life or death. Like, what is a life with DPDR? How could the investment not be worth it? How could just the investment of not the money, but the time, the energy, the effort to actually overcoming this, how could that not be worth it? You know?
exactly. Yeah, like
And when your
it
life is on the line, you feel, I don't know if you felt this, but you feel like a fire that it's like something needs to happen right now. You know, I have
hmm
to get it done. How did you even get the money, by the way, if if cards or credit were maxed out and all that?
I had a daycare parent pay me a month early.
Oh,
um so that was some of it. My husband had a little bit in his savings, and then I ended up so I gave you that originally, and then
oh, and then we
um
distributed it. Yeah, I remember.
yeah, and then I was like, I promise in the next week I will have the rest. And um I ended up getting paid again on that Monday because I I did just take on a couple more kids. So like everything that I had just was given was just like I just figured it out. I was like, it doesn't matter. I was gonna ask my mom for money, and I
Wow.
don't do that. So
No. That's so impressive, Brooke. I'm really proud of you. I did it like I never even got the like hint that you might have been struggling because you were so committed. You were so ready to get this over with. And
yeah.
that's powerful right there. Um, and what would you say your biggest takeaway has been from this whole experience, Brooke? Like, what are just
Um,
some things that you've learned about yourself, about life that, you can take away with you?
Getting up like at a decent time every day versus sleeping in and wasting the day. Like knowing that I can just take a half hour nap in the afternoon if I absolutely am that exhausted. Like, because in the morning, you're not fully awake anyway. You don't need to lay back down. Just get up. Like, if your brain's telling you to get up, just get up.
Yeah, yeah.
That
That's a
was a
great
big one for me.
That's a great
Um,
point. A lot of people think they have to go on this like transformational, I don't know, like I have to start becoming a marathon Ironman runner. In
mhm.
reality, you have to make tiny changes in your life and stick to it every single day.
Yep. And you don't
Yeah,
miss a day. Don't
don't
miss.
miss a day. Don't miss a day. No matter what, do not miss a day. I mean, Brooke, would you say this was the best investment that you've made?
Oh, yeah. It's the only thing that I've ever really done for just myself. Well, not
Wow.
just myself, but like
Wow.
it's the best thing I ever did.
Best thing you've ever did. Awesome.
And there's like a small story behind the accident. I'll let you know too. So
Okay.
this my me and my husband when we were dating, we crashed this truck when I was like 14,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, this truck is cursed. So he's
It's
like, no,
fun.
I love this truck. So he rebuilt it
Oh, no
halfway.
way.
Oh yeah, and then a tree fell on it on his dad's yard and crushed it again halfway through.
What?
And then And then he finally got it fixed and on the road. And I was like, oh, can I take the truck for the day? I was going to therapy. And he's like, yeah, you go ahead, take the truck. But the night before, we were at a friend's house and I heard a click when he was driving. I'm like, what the heck is that? And I just didn't ask. And then the next morning I was like, can I take the truck? He's like, go ahead. And I was on my way back from therapy and I go to put my foot down on the brake pedal and it was
Oh
gone.
my
Like there
God.
was no brake pedal. And right in front of me was either an intersection or a brick building, and it was like right there.
I know
And
you told me.
my reaction was jump the fuck out.
Wow. Honestly, what probably was a good decision,
Everyone's
but
like, that's the worst thing ever. I was like, if I hit that brick wall, I would have been dead. They're like, if you hit your head on the ground, you would have been dead. I was like,
that's
but
true
I'm
too.
not.
You're
I'm not.
not. You're not. And look at us 8 months
Yep.
later.
So
Brooke,
yeah, it's crazy
I'm
how
so happy for you.
it's
Yeah,
crazy how something so small and simple can just throw your life off.
it is crazy.
But then something so simple can get you right back.
There we go. There we go. And yeah, ultimately, Brooke, I'm just so happy for you. So, so immensely proud of you. It makes me the happiest person in the world knowing that not only you overcame this, so you can reap the benefits of living your life to the fullest, but now you can raise your kids the best way possible. So now I've affected generations. I've made an impact on generations.
Hmm.
And there's no better feeling than that, you know? Because it could have been really ugly for you and for anyone if they continue down the same cycle, the same DPDR trap, the whole lives, the next 2 years, the next 3 years, who knows, you
Yeah,
know?
I could just never imagine, like the 10 years and stuff people say. It's like, please take care of it while you can. I don't know if I could have lived another day without doing something.
That's what I'm saying. I feel for them too, and I have a bunch of clients that have had it for many, many years.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I wasn't around when they had it for just a couple months.
Yeah.
But what would you say to the people who are reaching out to me and if they've had it for basically as long as you had it, a couple months, under a year? Would you say to keep waiting it out and
Nope. Nope. I'd say lock in.
lock in? Okay,
Lock in.
a good way to go about it. Well, Brooke, we have made wonders happen. It's been honestly, you were one of my favorite people ever to coach because the drastic changes that like you made, even though obviously there were simple changes, who you were on our first call and who you became and who you are now is drastically different. So not
Hmm.
only were we able to overcome DPDR, obviously, but now like you've become a better mom, a better Brooke, and it's just like you really surprised me, honestly. You really, really surprised me of how well you were able to just focus and do it and become a better person. It's been
Yeah.
amazing, Brooke. It's been amazing. So
Thank you.
yeah, of course. I mean, any last words to someone right now watching this? They made it till the end and they want some hope, some, words of advice, something, what would you say?
Honestly, there's no excuses because I was pretty
Wow.
down,
Some
pretty,
tough love there.
yeah, there's real no excuse. Like, I
Mm,
came from one of the worst times of my life, and here I am now.
wow.
Worth it.
Wow, wow, wow. I expected something a little softer and sweeter from you, but I think you've learned a lot from me, and that's true. There are no excuses. You heard it here first, everyone watching, hearing it. Make it happen. Make it happen. Brooke,
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. We're going to continue to stay in touch like always.
Mm.
And yeah, have an awesome rest of your day, rest of your life.
All right. Thank